stand. Antoine Griezmann is the big news tonight. Has he announced that he will not be joining Manchester United? Has he had that great Wolf of Wall Street moment? I'm not leaving. And, Wenger's pretty much done the same for Arsenal. But we're not an Arsenal fan channel. We have got credibility. And there is lots to talk about tonight. That is for certain. The Griezmann news, obviously, want to talk about that. And also want to talk about the... Wayne Rooney is sort of coming to... he's disappeared recently. Do you feel sorry for Rooney? We'll be talking about that. Some very interesting opinions on that. And also, most importantly, to some people, if Antoine Griezmann does leave Manchester, does not join Manchester United this summer, who do we sign? Because Rooney's probably going to go. We do need a number 10. We do need somebody who's a bit, malleable, I would say, who can play across that 10 and either side of that. Yes, we've got Mata. Yeah, we've got Mkhitaryan, but... we all know if Rooney goes, we need somebody to come in, and I think Rooney will go. But will Griezmann be the man? Get commenting. We are going to open up the lines as well on Skype Goldbridge in a moment. It is Skype Goldbridge, all one word, so you can Skype in and have your say. But first of all, let me bring you right up to date in relation to Antoine Griezmann. This always happens. I hate International Week. I'm sure many of you do as well. But this always happens on International Week. You get players away from their clubs. They get pinned down by the media. I've got something in my eye. And quotes come out that are genuinely from the player because they're not under the protection of their like they are week to week with their clubs. And comments come out. And I think it might be quite an interesting week, especially in relation to things like that. I would imagine there'll be something around De Gea and Real Madrid at some point this week as well, predicting that. But in relation to Griezmann, so he's been asked the question again, what's your future? And to be honest, in relation to the comments that he's given, they're not dissimilar. In fact, I thought they were rehashed quotes from what he said about a month ago, that he won't be going to Real Madrid or Barcelona or France or America, because why would he? He likes the sun and he's happy in Atletico. He's happy in Madrid with Atletico Madrid. He did go slightly further than that and say that it's everybody's dream to go and play for Barcelona or Real Madrid or Bayern Munich, but at the moment he's happy where he is and the future will take care of itself. No direct quote about Manchester United either way. Not even that it's a dream to play for Manchester United and not ruling Manchester United out. But it's that Sun thing that keeps coming back. I tell you what, Antoine, if you are watching, your brother might because he's a big United fan, you want to be careful. There are risks with the sun. Skin cancer things are going through the roof. The figures are going through the roof. Now, maybe you are using a lot of sun cream, but even so, sun worshipping is not good for you. Moderation. And 1 day a year in Manchester, that's probably all you need. Have a few limes so you don't get scurvy or vitamin A deficiency, or is it D with sun? But Manchester, it's about football, mate. You can go and get a suntan when you're 40. You've got to play football at the highest level, and Manchester United offers you that. So will he come? Well, he won't. I mean, a lot of people would say he can't really come out and say I'm leaving in the summer. Of course he can't. But in this situation, you're either... I mean, De Gea was asked about going to Real Madrid 3 weeks ago, and he said, I'm not concentrating on anything at the moment apart from Manchester United. Now, that is quite ambiguous. It's great. You could say he's only focused on Manchester United, but you could say, what's he going to say in the summer? I think if Griezmann was coming to United, I'd prefer a little bit about that. I'm confident he will come. I do think he will come, and nothing's happened to make me change that feeling that he will come. But the comments, I understand, you can read them that he isn't going to come. He's basically said he's happy in Spain. You've got to factor in a few things. Simeone, whether he'll leave Atletico Madrid this summer. He also said in his interview that he phoned Simeone last summer and asked Simeone about what his intentions were. And Simeone said that he was staying Atletico Madrid, and that made Griezmann want to stay. So that is a factor as well. And also, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think Atletico Madrid may have a transfer ban this summer, which would make them want to keep him. But Griezmann's not getting any younger. In fact, I think he's 25 or 26 now. And I think at Atletico Madrid, they are never going to win the Champions League or League. Well, they might win it this year. They're not going to win the league this year. They might win the Champions League this year, but it's unlikely. They're always going to be a really dogged side that play bits of good football, and they're always a contender. They're always going to be a bridesmaid and never a bride, I think. And if he wants to, he is considered to be in the top echelon of world footballers. He needs to go somewhere where he can. That's replicated. Manchester United would give him that. Bayern Munich would give him that. He's right. Real Madrid would give him that. Barcelona would give him that. But I can't see him going to La Liga. But he might fancy Bayern Munich. I was quite disappointed that he mentioned that. But can they match the wages that we will pay? I don't think so. So I do think it will happen, and I'm not surprised by the comments that have come out, really. But I want to call, get Skype Goldbridge, get Skyping in, because I've just given you my thought. George Carl's saying get the calls in, Mark. We're waiting for a call. It's open. Skype Goldbridge, give us a call. But all hype about Griezmann. He's not a god, says Anthony Abderab. Don't want the rumours to gain momentum this early. He will come, but geez, I would rather like Lewandowski, says Ted 95J. It's Skype Goldbridge, all one word if you want to Skype in. Imagine making like the only thing keeping you in Spain is the sun. Embarrassing, says Wilf. Didn't Pogba say he was happy at Juve? Griezmann just wants to keep the fans on side, says Natty. And Tyrone Williams says Paulo Dybala is a better option for Manchester United. He's a potential Ballon d'Or candidate. Well, we'll talk about him in a few minutes, Tyrone. In fact, you might want to phone in and give us your thoughts on him, because I know you normally do. Where is everybody tonight? We open up Skype Goldbridge and no one bloody phones in. Mad Mark is streaming later. I'll try and tune in if you are. God knows what they're going to stream. Berardi of Sampdoria would be a great buy. And Manchester United Salford Reds, he will be coming to United. His agent is his brother. He'll be coming. He also said it's a dream to play in England. I don't think his agent's his brother. I think his brother is a Manchester United fan. Danny Milner says he can't see that he can't see him going to Munich. Let's see if we can get Jeff on. Jeff, can you hear me?
Hey, Mark, how you doing? Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Glad to hear you.
Okay, what's your thoughts on this Griezmann rumour then? Are you still... Well, I don't know whether you thought he was going to come or not. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, with the latest comments, like you said, and him not mentioning, United, I don't know. I don't know if we can take anything from it, like you said. I mean, it's international break. He's away from the squad, as you said. They say things off the cuff all the time. Maybe it was planned. Maybe it's going to be some sort of quote-unquote big surprise or big reveal, like his brother loves United and is a United fan, so I don't know. I think he's got to be thinking of it in the back of his mind.
Yeah, and like Ricky Harrison says, Griezmann's only saying he wants to stay at Atletico because he doesn't want to get hate from Atletico fans. And Atletico Madrid, unlike any other English club other than Leicester, actually do have a Champions League quarter-final. I forget who they've got, actually, but, he's got to be focused on that, hasn't he? Manchester United can take care of itself in the summer. At the moment, he's an Atletico Madrid player, and he's got Champions League football to play for.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it's a smart move by him. I mean, he would kill himself, to go back, to Atletico, after saying, even mentioning the teams that he mentioned, he might get some stick for that. But, to mention a Manchester United squad that he's, pretty heavily linked to, I'm sure that probably wouldn't go over well. Maybe even, with the coach or, whatever else, too, so...
So do you think we will be signing Griezmann in the summer, or are you still a bit undecided, or are you bothered if we do or we don't?
I'm not bothered by it. I would love to have him there. And, in your previous videos, the one about, Rashford, or Ibra, my opinion is Ibra's going to go. And if he does, we can make another a splash signing with Griezmann. Would be great, and who knows what that will spur on as well to maybe get another number 9, maybe another big name as well. We got, you get that lineup, you got Pogba, Griezmann, and then, you pull in a big or at least a medium to high number 9. I mean, who knows? Or Rashford. I love Rashford. I mean, he's my favorite United player right now. I love just the pace he gives us, and I was mentioned before in your videos. I loved that game on Sunday. That was awesome. Just the pace wise. So. Yeah,
it was fantastic. Where are you calling from, Jeff?
Virginia Beach, Virginia, United States.
Great news today. I just want to announce that as well. It's got me really excited. We've announced that we're coming to America in July. United on a United States tour. 5 games in 4 states. 4 cities. LA, Santa Clara, Salt Lake City, and Washington. Love it, can't wait. I'm sure some of the games will be 3 o'clock in the morning, so the watch-alongs will be interesting, but we did it 2 years ago. We did it 2 years ago when we thoroughly enjoyed it, and I can't wait. The American tour is normally very good, Jeff.
Yeah, it's great. I actually, I went a couple years ago when they were in Washington D.C. and they sold out. The stadium has like 73 or 74,000 people. So yeah, they played Barcelona, and it was awesome.
Cool. Well, thanks for calling in, Jeff. First caller tonight, and a very good one. Please do call in again.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
Cheers.
Love the channel.
Thanks, and keep spreading the word overseas. We love it over there.
We will. Thank you.
Thanks. I forgot to say that about the American tour. Brilliant. Can't wait for it. Nothing against Chinese, Asia, or the other tours that we do, but I like the American tours. I don't know why. I just do. I'd love to be going there. Somebody just said, will you be going there? I'd love to go and do it, but we've all got day jobs and we're not loaded. We're not run by TV companies like some people. But we'd love to do it one year. You never know. You never know. Get contributing. Give us some super chat things, and maybe we can get a few charter flights all over the place and finally get there. Why is there never any African tours, says Samir Sahib. We used to do South Africa, but maybe we can talk about that on Wednesday. We've got to talk about this. Yes, we're going to talk about... let's get another call. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Who's that?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Who's that?
Hi, this is Ewan.
Ewan, you're live on the United Stand. We're talking Antoine Griezmann. He's a footballer who plays for Atletico Madrid, who might be coming to Manchester United, but he says he likes the sun. What do you think about that?
I gotta say, it's fabulous over here in Florida. He'd love the sun. So if Antoine wants to come over here, that would be fantastic. For Manchester United, though, I don't know. I mean, does he look like the kind of footballer that we need? I just think he's a little bit too dainty. I just don't think he'll cut it in the Premier League.
I've heard this from a few people, to be honest. He certainly is a bit... He gets knocked off the ball a lot when I play at FIFA, but I'm quite consistent. I like him, and I've always said I wanted Griezmann, so I can't really go against that. But I mean, it's your call. What are your thoughts? Do you want Griezmann, or are you not bothered if he doesn't come? And I also want to move it into... What other options do you think there are if we don't get Griezmann? Because Rooney's surely going to go. Rooney could come to where you are if Beckham finally gets his arse into gear and sorts that team out in Florida.
I just think that his hair isn't good enough for Manchester United. He's never going to be a David Beckham sort of guy. He had fabulous sort of, he had his highlights. And at the peak of the 90s, David Beckham was just so... Sorry, I'm getting carried away here, but... Antoine Griezmann, I'm just not sure he's right for Manchester United. He's not strong enough. He's not enough of a man. So I just don't think he'd cut it in the squad. I don't know about you.
I think he would be. I think he'd be really good. I do. Just on Rooney there. Do you think Rooney's finished at United? Do you think he will be leaving this summer? Would you welcome him in the MLS, or do you want to?
He'd be welcome over here, man. He'd so be welcome. We take him in the MLS any day. I mean, David Beckham's starting up a new franchise over here, so Wayne Rooney would be welcome any time of the week.
Okay. Sorry, you said you were calling from Florida, Ewan. Thanks for calling in. First time caller?
Oh, it's always my first time. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I might have remembered you. But great call, pal. Please do call in again and speak to you very soon. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll take another call in a minute. Let's get back on track. Antoine Griezmann. He is obviously saying that he would like to stay in the sun in Spain. He ain't going to get any sun in Manchester, I can tell him that. UK's pretty bad all round. But if he doesn't go, who should we be looking at as a replacement? Now, I'm going to throw some names. I want people to Skype in about this. If Tyrone does, I'll give him his chance to talk about Dybala, because not a lot of people will know that much about him. But what about others? Who are the best number 10s in world football? And it's always going to create a debate, this. I think Griezmann fits Manchester United like a glove. He would take over from Rooney, playing behind the striker, can play right, can play left, but predominantly as a number 10. But what about... Who else? Who else is there? I'm going to throw a few names at you here. Have you ever thought about Ross Barkley? I actually quite like Ross Barkley. He's back on form. Mourinho does sort of like him. He's back on form the last few weeks. He's energetic. He's Premier League proven. He's English. I'd pay 40 million for him. I know it's very left field, but sometimes you've got to be a little bit left field. Remember Eric Bailly last summer, out of nowhere, and just came in. Don't expect us to just go and sign 3 or 4 players that we've all been talking around for the last 3 months. There won't be. There'll be at least one that you've never even considered. So what about Ross Barkley? What about Rakitic at Barcelona? Again, a very, very creative player. He could do the role as well. What about, there's 2 or 3 at Real Madrid. Isco, not really getting played. He could do the role. What about James Rodriguez? Consistently gets mentioned to us. And there's somebody else as well. I forget. Toni Kroos. Maybe Toni Kroos as well. So there are options out there. What I don't want to see happening is that we don't sign anybody. We don't sign Griezmann. And then we don't sign anybody. That is not what we want to see. Gabbiadini says Nahib Chowdhury. Well, he's a striker. Lukaku says Darth Vader. Again, he's a striker. Ali Foire says yes to Barkley, but Tango Dan TT says no. Right, I've got Tyrone. Simply, I'm taking Tyrone because I want to get his thoughts on Dybala. He probably knows a little bit more about him than me. Tyrone, can you hear me?
How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad. That last call was a bit of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was hard to keep a straight face, I must admit. Yeah.
What I was going to say was, if Griezmann doesn't come in, it's got to be Dybala for me. Fantastic player. Left-footed. Can play behind the striker, or he can play as a false 9. So I think he'll be someone that, would be really good for us.
Have you watched a lot of him, Tyrone, this year? I mean, admittedly, I haven't, so I'm not gonna. I know about him, but he's obviously Argentinian, isn't he? At Juventus. Yeah. He's very creative. And I suppose the thing that people would always say with a Serie A player is, can they come over to England and do it? And it's not like Italian defenders. There are a lot of players. Maybe not. I mean, I'm probably being a bit naive here, but I'm a bit older, so there is a lot of players that have come over from Serie A and done very, very well. Zola, Vialli. So I think as an attacking player, it's not as much as a concern.
I think he'd have a similar impact to what Sergio Aguero had for Man City. He's got that low centre of gravity. He's hard to move off the ball. He's a bit stronger than Griezmann. I like Griezmann, don't get me wrong, but I've seen 2 occasions when I've seen Griezmann go missing. I've seen him go missing in the Champions League final against Real Madrid twice.
Yeah.
And I've seen him go missing in the Euros against Portugal. And if you're a world-class player, you have to step up at them moments and be counted. And I've seen him go missing on them 3 occasions, so...
They're not the same player. Obviously, they play in different positions. But Pogba and Griezmann are quite interesting and quite similar. Not just because they're friends, but for those games you've said there, Pogba went missing in the Euros as well. So do we want 2 players that potentially could go missing like that? I mean, if Dybala's like Aguero very rarely does go missing, does he? But
nope.
Wilf says he'll never come to United. What? I mean, I don't know. Why wouldn't he come to United? Is he wrapped up under some big contract? I mean, I know Italy and Argentina tend to have good links. They seem to get the good players like Icardi and that, but money talks, doesn't it? And there's a lot more money in the Premier League than there is in the Serie A.
There is, but the thing with Dybala is one of them players that you could see him replacing Messi, or you could see him playing for Real Madrid one day. I actually think he'll be that good one day. So, yeah, it'll be very difficult to get him. I think we wanted him before he moved to Juve, but we went for Martial instead.
To be honest, I can't complain about that.
No.
Dybala is early 20s, isn't he? If I recall correctly, I think he's about 22, 23.
He's about 23, 24.
Yeah. Be perfect. I mean, do you think Griezmann's going to come? I mean, for those who've joined us a little bit late, he has come out. They are mirror quotes to what he said a month ago, to be honest. He's basically said, why would I leave Spain? I love the sun. It makes me happy. Of course, every player wants to play for Real Madrid or Barcelona or Bayern Munich. Doesn't name Manchester United, but not at the moment. I'm not going to be leaving. Do you think that means anything, or do you think it's just keeping the Atletico Madrid fans happy and focusing on the season?
It would be very disrespectful for him to come out and say, I want to join Man United in the summer. He can't, he just can't say that. So he's got to be professional. He could still come to United. If we get Champions League football, he'll come. If we win the Europa League, which I think we will win, to be honest. You heard it here first. I think we'll actually win it. But, he could come. But he's not my first choice. It's quite controversial, but I'd choose Dybala over him, definitely.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, Tyrone. There's probably people out there who would pick people over Griezmann. I've got to stick with what I said probably around a year ago. I think it was May. I was asked what my dream signing of last summer was going to be, and it was Griezmann over anybody. So obviously I would love to get him, but I'm not saying setting it in stone that he'd come and be the best player in the league. I think he would be, but there are concerns about his physicality. There's concerns about what you said about whether sometimes he can go missing. He wasn't having a great season in Madrid this year, to be honest, until about 2 months ago. So he was doing really bad. So of course people can have different opinions, and Dybala is a name that keeps getting mentioned.
The problem with Dybala and Griezmann, they're not our priorities right now. I think what Man United need to look at is the defence. We need another world-class centre-back. I think Luke Shaw's going to be going, so they're going to need a left-back. And Valencia's good, but I think we need another right-back to give him a bit of competition. Someone better than him, maybe.
It's interesting because I forgot to say it on the show last night because we had so much to talk about on the Sunday show. But I was going to say that about a month ago, funnily enough, Mourinho said 2 or 3 players in the summer, not 5 or 6. But I don't know whether he might have have to reassess that himself now, because like you said, I think the 2 or 3 players we could have predicted a month ago, there'd be a centre back, a centre midfielder, and the Griezmann position to replace Rooney. But quite rightly, we probably need a left back. We certainly need a backup right back, and the squad has looked a bit thin. I mean, Pereira's coming back. I mean, he never gets much of a mention. Where do you think? Where do you think Pereira fits in next year? Because he can play number 10. He can play on the wings as well. I think he can play the character role as well, but that's controversial.
I think he'd be similar to what Coutinho is for Liverpool on the left. He can play the left hand side quite well. He's quite a good little dribbler as well. He's a good player. The problem with Mourinho is I just want him to sometimes give some of these young players a chance, but he prefers established pros. That's the problem. I'm worried that De Gea might be on his way out as well.
Yeah, in which case it's a keeper as well, isn't it?
It's another keeper.
Yeah. Okay, Tyrone, thanks for calling in about Dybala. That was really useful. And
no worries.
I know you're quite a regular, so please do keep getting involved. Thanks, pal.
Right, cheers, mate. Thanks.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I forgot about De Gea. I think that one will rear its head. In fact, as I said at the start of the show, don't be surprised if something comes up in the press this week from the Spanish media, because remember, they've got De Gea now. He's with the Spanish national squad. They'll be pumping him to try and get something. And I have sort of predicted that if De Gea is going to leave United, it's going to be between now and May. It's going to start rolling up. So we'll see what happens there. I just want to give a quick shout out for a couple of things. One, I will read your comments out, but if you want a definite readout, you can do that through the super chat option, which is the $sign there, which is contributing to the channel as well. If you want to do that, you don't have to, but some people do it through Twitch, don't they, and stuff like that, so you can support the channel. And secondly, there's a link in the video description. It's the second paragraph that will take you to our Snapchat account, which we are trying to come to terms with. I don't really know how it works that well, but what we're looking for on Wednesday is if you are on Snapchat, go to the video description, go to the link to follow us or whatever it is you do on Snapchat, and send us your questions. And on Wednesday, we will be doing another Skype Gold Bridge, but we'll also be doing a few of those as well, some of your questions that we'll put out as the show as well, because I know it sort of makes it easier. I'm more than happy to do Skype Gold Bridge, and we will keep doing it, but I like to talk to people for about 5 to 10 minutes sometimes, and that limits the amount of people we can get on. So if you definitely want to come on, send us one of your Snapchat questions. We'll get it up, and make sure when you do leave your Snapchat thing that you tell us your name and where you're leaving the message from, so we can give you a proper shout out as well. So that will be Wednesday. The link is in the video description. I promised to talk about Rooney as well. I want to talk about Rooney. Let's get another call on. Let's see if we can get somebody who's never been on before. Cams, can you hear me? Or Cam?
Yeah. Hello.
Hi, Cam. You all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks. Where are you calling from?
Russia. A Mourinho fan from Russia. I was calling before.
Oh, of course, you have been on before. Sorry.
Yeah.
I lose track of the players.
No, it's okay.
You're a big fan of Mourinho, so we'll change tact with this. What's your assessment on Mourinho at the moment? And what I want to say is this, because as Manchester United fans, there is a little bit... I like this, actually, because it's off-the-cuff question, but it's something that has been very, very relevant on social media today that I've noticed, that there's a lot of Manchester United fans and journalists very critical of Mourinho yesterday. We were 2-0 up in the game with 70 minutes gone, and he basically parked the bus. And a lot of fans are feeling that invited the opposition on, and we could have ended up drawing a game that we were comfortable in. Is Mourinho always like that? Is he always going to do that? Or do you think the players just didn't follow his tactics as he wanted when he made them changes?
Yes, it was, I have to say, it was awful. It was just awful what happened. And this is coming from Mourinho fan. And still I'm saying that what he did was awful. I don't agree that the team can do it itself, and they can do it. Of course, it comes from the manager. And to be honest, I was amazed, even with the second team, if it was a second team, how it was possible that second from bottom team was playing out our defense with 3-2 passes and through passes, and was having a lot of chances, and we were in our penalty box defending and kicking balls out. It was really it was a disaster. If Valencia really saved Mourinho there, really saved. And I don't know what lessons will he get from this, but this really was very alerting situation, and it can, I don't know, I'm very worried. I'm very worried for what can happen after the international break.
So you're not actually confident that United will end the season well? You think that there might be problems ahead in relation to Mourinho's tactics?
I believe in United. I believe in Mourinho, and I'm a big fan. I was crying and shouting in that last seconds before that Valencia goal. It was really awful seconds, very hard, and the goal was, I don't know, it was a feeling that they will score. And the fantastic situation was that this is the bottom team. This is the team that is nowhere near the class and the class of United and the class of these players, our players, and they were dominating us. And how is it even possible that this kind of situation is physically? They were at the end of the match. Physically, they were weak. They couldn't run, couldn't pass. They were, and he didn't make any changes. He was making changes, but I think the 3 people change, it was for this game. He had to refresh the squad, but he didn't do it. And Lingard just fell on the pitch, and just after that he was subbed. I don't know. It was very, very strange ending of the match, and I'm really worried. But I believe in our squad, and that was all minuses and cons, but pros are in that Mourinho really woke the beast. He wakened the beast in this team, in these players. We see one after one players are lighting up like bulbs, and they show the character. And I really loved how Rojo, how Bailey was fighting there, and it was a sparks in the eyes. It was a fire in these players, and what Mourinho is really best of is really waking that beast in players, and and this is why I am confident that we will do good in this ending of season, and we will win something. I don't know what, maybe top 4, maybe Europa League.
I agree. I think I said it yesterday. At this time of the season, if you compare it to what Liverpool and Arsenal were doing at the start of the season, when there's no pressure and it's fantastic football, yeah, that's great. But we all said it then. See where you are in March and April, because when it comes to March and April, it's actually people like Fellaini and Rojo and Bailly and Valencia.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it because the effort levels and the fight comes to the fore. Because you've got to fight. You can't win every game 4-0 in March and April. No team's ever done it. Sir Alex Ferguson was a massive advocate of this. You've got to grind out results. And if it's down to heart and effort, United are top of the league at the moment with Chelsea. So I think it's going to be very, very exciting end to the season. But fantastic points as ever, Cam. And please do keep calling in, because it's great to get that Mourinho side of things.
Thank you, Mark. Great show, mate.
Thanks, pal. Richie CR's made a contribution on the super chat. He says Smalling was awful yesterday. What do you think? I've tried to avoid it, Richie, if I'm totally honest. because it's. I like Smalling, but he was at fault for the goal yesterday. I mean, the bottom line is I like Smalling at the moment, and he's the best player we've got in the air, and we are rubbish at crosses, both into the box and corners, and he's the best threat we've got. But do I think Chris Smalling's a centre-back for us to win the title? Of course I don't. I'm not stupid, and neither are you lot. I don't think he's good enough for us to win a title, and I don't think Phil Jones is. I think Rojo's been a revelation, and he's totally and utterly shocked me because I really didn't think he could do it. But I think he's one of our best players at the moment, Rojo. Him and Bailly at the moment would probably be my first choice centre-backs. But we need the height of Smalling. That's why he keeps playing him at the moment. The fact that he's captain's a bit of a joke, but our captain choices for the last 3 years have been a bit of a joke, haven't they? Talking of which, I want to talk about Wayne Rooney. I mean, we've sort of forgotten about Wayne Rooney, and he is a bit intermittent on Twitter anyway, but I think his last tweet was the 6th of March or something like that. There's not, he's not been involved in the team. There's not been any well-dones or anything like that. Herrera, the first thing he did yesterday was... The first thing Herrera did yesterday, even though he wasn't involved, was tweet out saying well done to the team. Nothing from Rooney. Now, I'm not going to be critical about Rooney about this. I've got Rodney on, not Rooney. Rodney, what's your thoughts on the Rooney thing? Because I just think he's just being phased out by Mourinho. He's obviously going in the summer, and he just doesn't feel part of it.
Yeah, I definitely think he's been phased out. It was surprising not to see him in the squad yesterday. But I think it's the shape of things to come in terms of what the manager wants to do with the team and reducing basically the age of the squad and also the fight within the squad. I think when Rooney was playing, it was all about Rooney and it was all about being the leading goal scorer and a legend at the club. But I think I spoke to you some months ago. We need to be more about the team and about where we're going in the future. So I would say thanks to Rooney. He's been a good servant, but he's been richly rewarded, and we need to look forward to someone else.
Yeah, I mean, I think, to be fair, he might still be carrying an injury, which is why he's probably not involved yesterday. But I think the big contrast for me, and some people I can see on the comments saying, "Oh, Rooney's still got loads to offer, this, that, and the other," but he just doesn't feel part of it anymore. It's like the first leg in Rostov when he actually was fit. And he didn't take him. And I thought, well, he's meant to be the captain of the club. So whether he's going to play him or not, surely you want your captain just to be in the dressing room. And I think that was a big telling point that he's club captain in name now. He's not really, not in a horrible way. I just think Mourinho's got his own ideas and Rooney doesn't sort of fit into that. I must admit, I do sort of feel sorry for him because whatever anybody thinks about it, he has had a fantastic career at Manchester United. And he definitely is. He's not even, they say it's better to burn out than to fade away. He's not even fading away. He's just slowly being stifled of oxygen, isn't he? He's really going out.
You know what? It's when you say fading away, he's like the invisible man that you can slightly make the outline of, but you can't quite touch. Even the press and the media don't mention his name anymore when the squad is named. And if he's not in the squad, no one says anything because even they've realised that this United team is moving on without him. So in terms of him being a very good player for the club, and he has been, everyone has their time. This club had the same position, was at the same position when Brian Robson was coming to the end. And we were bringing through players like Paul Ince and Roy Keane and all of those players. So his legendary status will remain, but you're only as good as what you've won. And we haven't won anything in terms of a big thing for quite some time. Even though we have a trophy, Mourinho's job, he knows that we've got to get into Champions League and we've got to get into either top 4 or we've got to win another trophy to get into Champions League. So looking at Rooney in terms of where will we be next year and the year after, he has to shape his team in a way where he's getting the best out of the players that he has bought, like Pogba, who's getting pelters for not doing a simple 5-yard pass. So for me, the fact that Rooney's not playing, I'm not upset. And unlike you, I don't feel sorry for him because he has been richly rewarded for the time that he's been at the club. He could probably stay at the club for another year and still not play. No one would say anything. No one would say one.
It's a fair point, Rodney. You know, it's just how I feel, and that's the whole point of people calling in. And I totally understand why people wouldn't feel sorry for him. He has been richly rewarded, and he earns a lot of money. In fact, like Dante Roa says, "Who is Wayne Rooney?" And it's I think that's a fantastic point that I'd not considered about the press, because it was this season at the last international break, wasn't it? Where the ramifications were Rooney drunk, and will he play for United again? And the press was still very much in his corner. He could have been in the England squad this 2 weeks. He's recovering from an injury, but Luke Shaw's in the England squad, so Rooney could have been in it. No
exactly. Why hasn't Rooney been called up? That's the question. Was it even Gareth Southgate has looked at him and thought, you know what, I need to. If you're bringing in someone like Defoe, why is Rooney not there?
It's very telling.
It's very telling. Can I say one more thing? When you talked about Griezmann earlier,
yeah, I was going to ask you anyway. So
by chance, I was watching a game about 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago. Augsburg, Leipzig, and Leipzig had a player called Naby Keita.
Yeah,
I've never seen a player move the ball around. I would say he was like a cross between Luka Modric's, Xavi. His ball control was excellent. He went past players like they weren't there, and the minute the pass was on, he played it for the strikers. And I looked at him and I thought he will definitely be in someone's top 4 club in any league. So if we don't get Griezmann, it wouldn't be wrong for United scouts to have a look at this boy, because he's very, very good. Very good.
And he's very tenacious as well. He's very tenacious. Yeah. He's almost like Kante in that aspect as well. But like you say, he's got the ball playing skill as well.
Yeah, we could do with it. Well, considering the midfielders that we've got now, I would say we need someone of that ilk to help Pogba and whoever else comes in move forward, because I was very impressed with him. Very impressed.
I mentioned him a couple of weeks ago, actually, because Liverpool are linked with him, and I think might be Arsenal.
Can't have that.
And if he goes there, he will make them a better team. And I'm still amazed that we never tried to get Kante last summer. I mean, Chelsea should not have got him. They have no European football. They've just finished mid-table. If we'd have put an offer in, he'd have come to us. But it's not just us. Man City missed the boat. So did Arsenal. So did anybody else who finished above Chelsea. And they nipped in and they got that deal. And he's winning the title. And I would not like to miss out on this lad for another rival in this league, because he'll make our rivals better.
Well, that again, what you've said about Kante, how we did not get him through name alone, let alone salary, that he went to Chelsea. And I mean, the guy is probably at least three players in one position. The movement and the tenacity, and he's more than just someone who tackles. He's a good footballer. So I'm fingers crossed that we get Mr. Keita, and everyone else is too busy looking around at all of the other top names in European football. And I'd like us to get a player that we didn't have to go and spend above and beyond, that would come in and do a very good job without the pressure of the price tag, because we've seen what's happened to Pogba. I'd like us to be able to buy a player like we used to, and you'd open the paper and it go, Man United have signed. They'll be like, oh, right, who's this person? And then we just crack on from there.
I think that'd be perfect, really, because you wouldn't get all the razzmatazz and the world record signing. I think he'd just come in and do a fantastic job. Great call as ever, Rodney. Please do call in again.
Brilliant show. Will do. Great show, Mark. Cheers.
Thanks, pal. I've really enjoyed it tonight. It's been a really, really good show. I just want to touch on a couple of comments. In fact, just while I remember about that, because Kate is one of the names I want to talk about tomorrow, which a lot of you might not know about. Tomorrow night at 8:30, I'm doing a show, and it is basically... it's going to be called something like Mourinho's top secret signings, and it goes back to about 20 minutes ago when I was talking about Eric Bailly and how it came from nowhere. And what I want to do tomorrow is do a show, talk probably about between 10 and 20 players. So we'll be talking for a good half an hour, live comments like this as well, interacting. But 10 to 20 players. I've got a list of about 12 so far of players that we're not really talking about. Not because they won't be coming to Manchester United, just because they're not Griezmann, they're not Bakayoko, they're not Kessie, they're not Kroos. They're not these players that are heavily linked to Manchester United, that 99% of the time don't actually come. The signings we're going to make, we may not have even touched upon. And tomorrow night is going to be delving into a few of those players, and then let's see what happens in the summer. So you will be massively involved. I will have a list of players, but we will talk about people you mentioned in the live comments, which I wanted to come to here. T-Dogman has mentioned Neymar. A few people have mentioned Neymar tonight. Did a video on Neymar about a month ago. Don't rule it out. all I say about Manchester United is this, and it's well known in the corridors of power and the outskirts of media around Old Trafford. Ed Woodward loves signing Galacticos. He loves what he's done in the last couple of years. Even if they've not worked out, like Falcao and Di Maria, he loves doing that sort of thing. And he's been after Neymar for years. It's almost like a personal quest. I don't think it can happen, but it wouldn't surprise me if it did. Matt Grease has mentioned Bernardo Silva. If we're talking about Griezmann not coming and an ideal number 10, I like Bernardo Silva. I think he's a fantastic player. I just wonder if we've got Mata and Mkhitaryan, would we need him? But if Rooney goes and we don't get Griezmann, he'd be fantastic. In fact, he's a player we'll be talking about tomorrow night. I don't want to give too many away anyway. I don't want to give too many away, but there's a good list that I've been working on today, and also a few of you commented on Twitter about it. So join us tomorrow night at 8:30. It's going to be really interesting. Not talking about obvious signings, some of the outside of the box ones. Because what I want to do is, let's do the video tomorrow night at 8:30. And you know what? When we get to June and we've signed some players around the start of July, let's look back at that video and see how many we picked out. So it's your chance to be United Stand Scouts tomorrow. Also, second part of the video description. It's not the first paragraph, the second part of it. Wednesday night we'll be doing another show like this, another Skype Goldbridge. You can Snapchat your question in. Follow us on Snapchat, second paragraph in the description. Send us your question, tell us what your name is and where you're from, and we'll get it up for you and give you a shout out. So that'd be good. Mark, what's the number for the show? Says Ricky French. It's Skype Goldbridge, all one word. I know not all of you can ever get on, which is why we're starting the Snapchat thing as well, because they're shorter and we can just play them out. So that'd be good. More ways of getting you on, which is great. And the live comments has been cooking as per usual tonight. Bernardo Silva is different class, says Abdullah. Andrea Belletti from Torino, says Christopher Green. Well, he's a striker. Mark, will you do England games, says Cameron Davies. I hate England. I hate England. This is the worst England squad I've ever seen. I used to love England. I was so passionate about England. And you know what turned me again off England? The media-driven, weak management who just kept playing Gerrard and Lampard in the midfield. That team in 2002 or through till about 2008 was better than any team, as good as any team in Europe. And certainly in the world, we should have been challenging. But we never did, because we never just didn't put... If we just picked Gerrard or Lampard, put one on the bench and then swap them at 60 minutes, and then just put Nicky Butt behind them or Michael Carrick and actually have some balance in the team, we might have won some trophies. But we didn't. We didn't play Carrick or Nicky Butt or somebody who can hold the midfield. We played Gerrard and Lampard together. And that is England football. That's England Football Club for you to a T. Run by people who are only interested in money. When the World Cup sticker books come out, you'll notice you don't get the official England players in their kits and everything. The reason for that is that England have got their own sticker book. They've got their own deals. England make more money than any other national team in the world, yet we are one of the worst, because we are a fantastic brand, but actually when it comes to being on the pitch, we're rubbish. But the FA don't care, because the money pours in. I'm fed up of England. I'm absolutely fed up with them. I've got no interest, and I will not watch it on Wednesday or Saturday. No interest in them at all. And I think this squad's crap, and I think Gareth Southgate is a crap manager as well. So you've got the truth there. Abdullah says Snapchat sucks. I'm sure it does. I don't use Snapchat much, but it's an opportunity for you to send us messages that we can put up on the show. Jorty Devil really likes the look of Bournemouth youth player Hugh Jass, 17-year-old. Poor that is, Jorty. I'm an idiot for reading it though. Darth Vader really, says damn. England are bottlers, says gaming. So interesting. What will happen with Antoine Griezmann? Will he come to Manchester United? I still think he will, but he has come out and said that he's happy in the sun again. Who would we get if we replace him? A few good names put up there today. Get commenting below if you're not live, because there's 3 big topics tonight. 1, do you think Griezmann's going to come? 2, if he doesn't come, who would you get? And 3, what do you think about Wayne Rooney? Is he being faded? Is it I wouldn't say disrespectful. Do you feel sorry for him the way he's just sort of on the periphery now? He's not even important. Doesn't even go to, he's not part of the squad. Mourinho's really, really phased him out, hasn't he? So interesting, very interesting. Why can't we get Aguero, says Shama? Well, maybe we could. He's not a number 10 though. I don't think Vidal is a target. No, Shaka Phillips. Also, please, can I just say, over 900 of you watching, please do drop a like on the video. If you like the content that we do, please do drop a like. It's just a little bit of an indication to us that you like the content. And so it's really important. Just drop a like. It takes no time. And if you are new to this show tonight, Subscribe, bottom right hand corner of the video, there's a little United Stand emblem. Click it, subscribe. Make sure you've clicked the bell if you have subscribed so you get notified every time we go live, because we are a live content channel. And just keep getting involved. As you can see, the live comments is massively about, is what the United Stand's all about. It's your channel as much as it is ours, and we need your interaction. You know, I used to do pre-records. They're crap. I hate them. We were the first real football channel to start doing live content. Everybody does it now, but I don't blame them, because it's fantastic. The interaction is superb. It's boring doing pre-recorded stuff, so we can't do it without you. So absolutely fantastic the amount of people who get involved in this channel, and I really appreciate it. Deep Toe says we should get Icardi for Inter if Griezmann doesn't work out. Again, he's more of a striker than what I think we need, which is a number 10. Yusuf says Aguero can play at number 10. You know, sorry, when I'm thinking about number 10, I'm thinking about, you know, David Silva, somebody who can really create stuff as well. And Aguero's a striker. As far as I'm concerned, Aguero's a striker. Man United Fanatic 99 says our future is Martial, Rashford and Mickey, then a partner for Pocker. And Mick T King says get the likes up, everybody. Yeah, get the likes up. Okay, back tomorrow night at 8:30. It's going to be an absolute cracker tomorrow. Really, so many players. And get commenting below if there's some that you think that we might want to talk about tomorrow. We're definitely going to talk more about Keita from Leipzig, and there's a few others as well. Really delving into who these out-of-the-box Mourinho signings might be this summer, and I guarantee you they will not be players that we'll already be talking about. We're not just going to go out and sign Lindelof, Bakayoko and Griezmann. We're going to sign that's not what's going to happen. There will be at least one Eric Bailly type signing that nobody's even considered about, that's just been kept down on the lie low. Tomorrow we're going to delve in who. I've given you one already. It would not surprise me if we sign Ross Barkley. He's stalling over a contract. He's doing very well for Ronald Koeman and Everton at the moment. He's Premier League proven. He's energetic. He went off the boil for about a year. He's back on the boil now. I've always quite liked him. I'd love him at Manchester United. That's the sort of people we'll be talking about tomorrow, although Bernardo Silva is one of them. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for everyone who's called. If you've not got in, don't worry. You can send us a Snapchat message through the video description for Wednesday night. Otherwise, we'll open the calls up again on Wednesday night. Thanks everybody. Fantastic show. Really enjoyed it. And I'll see you all tomorrow at 8:30. Keep getting involved. It is your channel and we cannot do this without you. Thanks for watching.